Hello everybody, welcome back to the Band of War Variety channel. Today's video we're going to be doing is Gunster Case number 14. So Gunster Case number 14 is going to bring us our next weapon here. Last video we did a couple minutes ago, I finished making that. It was Gun Showcase 13, as we're moving back into Gun Showcase. And so that was the first one. And then this is after that, the next gun on the wall. This is the Ehrenfeld Ferdinand rifle is the proper name for it. Ehrenfeld Ferdinand rifle A1, because the original did not have this setup in here for shells. You had to stick something in and then put a shell in, but that was crude because it came out easy. And this can kind of come out, but it's not coming out as easy. And so, basically, that's this gun. Ehrenfeld Ferdinand rifle, the first gun that we're going to be viewing in the Ehrenfeld arms. A lot of these guns that I use are Ehrenfeld guns. Another pretty prominent guns and arms manufacturer during the war with the Buckethead Empire. And so this is just a single shot gun. It only shoots one shot, but it is very powerful. About 15,000 feet a second, a ball flies out of here, and it is an extremely long-range gun, but it does not have any optical sights, so it does take a great deal of training to get good with it. And it's not very commonly used in the later stages to mid-stages to later part of the early stages of the war, as sniper rifles improved to coming back to semi-automatic and bolt-action sniper rifles, in which we have multiple shots instead of just one. So, but this is a very versatile rifle, as many single-shot weapons are. And so the nickname for this weapon is the UPS rifle. And UPS, as you may know today, is the United States Postal Service. And the reason it gets its nickname is the part on it that looks like a mailbox flag, which would go in a mailbox. And mailboxes are commonly associated with postal services, and postal service would be UPS. And, well, it was called the UPS rifle. Now, UPS wasn't around in the United States, obviously, during this battle, because the Bucketheads destroyed that. When the Bucketheads invaded the United States, they pretty much took out all the companies, and they put in place their companies. And so UPS disappeared, but obviously the people living there, as they fought, they knew and they remembered UPS, and they wanted to dedicate that to this weapon. And so that is a nickname, and that is what you will commonly hear me referring to it as, is the UPS rifle. Because it does sound better calling that UPS rifle than the Ehrenfeld Ferdinand A1 rifle. Better with UPS. So, or the UPS rifle or whatever. But anyway, guys, that is the basic overview of the gun. We have a sight down at the end, and the sight is off to the side of the barrel. And, well, you're probably thinking, well, how's that accurate? Well, you see, what you do is you take, I don't know what the best way to get you guys to see this is. I'll put this back here. The sight, when you look at it, you want to take the very side of the sight and put that on your target. You don't put the top of the sight on it, you put the side of it. And it's like that for leading targets when they're running, and for shooting at still targets. You look to the side of the sight and put the very edge of it on. I mean, the whole sight's going to be on the enemy, but you're going to be looking off to the side, because if you look off to the top, you're not going to hit your target. And so it took a great deal of marksmanship to use this. Great deal of, and some of them did have flip-up sights, like the Springfield trapdoor guns did back in the Civil War, but this example does not. I may install one in the future, I don't know. But that is this weapon. Basic overview. Some directions on the side of how you're supposed to use things, or I don't know what that's for. Some things up here, and a grip as well. This is actually just the frame of a musket that I bought that I bought at a French and Indian War reenactment battle site. And so that it was actually quite bad looking then. It wasn't very functional, but then we added all these. We added all these parts to it to create a usable rifle. So basically, we have a screw on a washer with a mailbox flag, and then a washer underneath that, so that this doesn't loosen up no matter how many times you use it. And then we have this part to keep that steady. Then this can rest on this. There is no trigger. The trigger on this gun is this thing here. And we'll see that when we're firing, which we're going to do right now. This can fire 3 different types of shells. The first one is a 20 gauge. And so the primer is on the side of these brass. So inside that, these are shells that have already been shot this way. So they're taken out, loaded into the side, and then a primer is placed. So there's a little ball about as big as the barrel there inside the brass, and then that's why the shell is going to go inside a spring, since it's smaller than 12 gauge, and fit inside there like that, and then the firing pin's going to hit the brass like that. Okay, so we're going to, this is on safety right now, like this, and then anywhere there and below is safety. Pull it back to this is safety, and then you pull it back further and the gun will fire. So it's essential to keep it down here when not shooting, so you do not bump it back and fire the gun. This gun has intense recoil as well as intense loudness because of the amount of speed that this bullet is flying out at. So this is 20 gauge 1.55. 1.55 caliber is the ball. What makes that so powerful is the speed at which it flies out, causing the damage. Probably wondering, why is a bullet that small making that much noise? Well, that's because of the amount of explosion needed to get the bullet to fly out that fast. So that is why that is. Not shooting at anything in particular, just putting some lead downrange. So not the best caliber, but it will work. Next caliber is 16 gauge 1.65. Okay? And the reason that these springs are here is because if you just put the shell in there by itself, it would fall out. It needs a spring that's bigger than the shell to feed in behind the brass part of the shell to hold it in place. So this is why 12 gauge is the most commonly used shell, because you didn't have to worry about any tedious spring work. Because 20 gauge seems like it's about ready to fall out of there, and 16 gauge fits in there firmly in a spring. However, it is a little hard to get out of the spring. So 12 gauge, you didn't have to worry about springs, you just stick it in there. So that's the most common cartridge used. 12 gauge 1.85. This is 1.65 16 gauge. Alright, so now we're going to move on to 12 gauge 1.85. Well, that doesn't need that. That one didn't have as much recoil for some reason. I bet you this one will, though. Okay? So that is that weapon. basic overview. Now what we're going to do to make this more interesting is to shoot at some enemies. So we're going to be shooting at some Silsuck Union clones. They were a union of bounty hunters that worked for the Buckethead Empire, and therefore they are an enemy of Kirkedy, so an enemy of the Resistance, and we all know the Resistance are the good guys. So we're going to be fighting some of them today. They have a variety of different cloths. They wear black, dark blue, dark green, and light blue. So you will be able to distinguish them. And some their officers, their commanders, they just run multiple cloths over their head to signify that they are of a higher rank than individual colored infantry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using 12 gauge today, 12 gauge 1.85, just the best caliber to use for this. We're going to be staying at a long range away. I think that's a little bit of a stretch there. I think he just got lucky in positioning of his sword, because that is extremely rare that a bullet of that speed or a round of that speed is deflected. I'm gonna have to try to hit him on the side. What? I had to use the sidearm there. Alright, I'm gonna see. I don't believe that these can penetrate through shields, so I'm going to shoot him in the knee, and then what he's going to do is most likely stop with his shield covering his entire body. That will halt his progress. Alright, and I was correct in my assumption. Here comes the officer. And it looks like he has a shield, so it looks like the way he's running, I can get his head into my sight. And I don't have a good shot here. This is a little difficult. Right? So we still have Shield Boy out there, and it doesn't look like he's gonna budge with anything else. So I'm gonna grab my RPG-L here. There's a video showcasing this on my channel already. If you guys want to learn more about this, if you haven't watched that already. But anyway, I'm gonna use this since this is the best way to get rid of him. Basically, this is a rocket launcher, and this is going to take him out. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. But had to use a couple different weapons there, obviously just because that's what the situation called for. But either way, effective sniper rifle will kill. Takes a little bit of practice with the aiming and getting used to the sight location. But either way, not going to be used in any major battles. The only time that I would really use this in any sort of fight will be in an arena fight. Um, so that's really the only time that we're going to see this because of its low ammo capacity and just not very user friendly in certain environments that would be in battles, as other sniper rifles would fare better in. So even though we're not going to be using it very much, it's still going to be an effective weapon, and you can still get kills with it. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked today's video. Please like, subscribe, it helps with the Batman Boy Variety channel, and stay tuned for any other videos that we're going to be moving into.